Hi, and welcome to Turra Company, the mother-daughter podcast about everything. Our mission is to make herstory, aka history, not by going viral, but by doing something that has never been done before in our family. Whether we have 2 listeners or 2 million listeners, we are bringing you our very best, and hopefully we are learning and growing together in the process. Now let's enter into the Turra Company experience and create herstory, aka history, together. Welcome to another episode of Turra Company. Welcome.
Hey people.
Hello, hi.
Ariel cracks me up because when I'm editing the show, I always hear her, I can't move forward. Because when I edit, so we always have that dead air, right? I intentionally put dead air in the front of our recordings. And then when I say welcome, then I know that's where I cut it. You know, if you edit a podcast, you'll know. If you don't, if you know, you know. If you don't be bad. You don't have a podcast, I don't expect you to know. I just be wanting to brag because I can't believe how much I've learned in doing this in my self-taught life. So that kind of brings me to our show topic today.
I feel like you were starting to tell a story about me and then you kind of just veered off to it.
Did I?
You were, because you were talking about,
Oh, yeah. You know what?
Mm-hmm.
It's them drugs. I'm not on them anymore. I'm not on the perks no more. I'm off. I don't want people to think I got, because everybody who I tell that I was on perks for all that time, 3 months for my back, they be like, woo, you got to be careful. You'll get addicted. Listen, people. The only thing that I am addicted to is food and pop.
Soda.
Okay,
pop.
for the West Coast soda, but I'm from the Midwest, so I say pop. That's the only thing I'm addicted. And I never hear nobody when I say I'm eating a cheeseburger, be careful, you could get addicted. Nobody never tells me that. But I tell them I was on them perks, and they be like, ooh, be careful with them. Better watch them. And I'll be like, I really don't have to watch them because I like how I think. Them mugs have you be like a zombie and you can't go to the bathroom. Like, yeah, perks is not, whoever is on them, get off. It ain't even worth it. Too much side effects. I like how I think. And I say that to say that's why I'm messed up. I just was telling this story and totally spaced it. Because them perks, they must be still in my system. I gotta do a cleanse. I gotta cleanse my liver so I can get back clear. But anyway, I was gonna say a story about you, and I was gonna say I know to cut it because when I say welcome, 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 and then usually Ariel, without even missing a beat, she'll be like, "Hello, hello." And so that's why I know, okay, this is the part of the tape that we need to go. Because sometimes we'll do welcome more than once. Like, I'll say welcome in the studio, and then you guys will do something stupid, or Chelsi will cough. And then I'll have to say welcome, welcome, welcome again. And I don't keep it until Ariel says hello. You know, once she says that, then I know that's the keepable part. But anyway, welcome, company. Welcome to our show. Today, we are going to be talking about life's expectations. When you read the title of the show, you probably were like, what about life expectations? So that's why we're going to tell you. So we're going to talk about life's expectations. Ooh, that's hard to say. We're going to talk about it from the
perspective, if you will.
Yeah, from our last show, perspective. We're going to talk about it from the perspective of, did you have any life expectations when you were growing up? How are you tracking right now? Mm-hmm. Like, are you where you set yourself to be? You know, and it's no judgment. Like, I feel like sometimes when you tell somebody your life expectations, sometimes people will look and be like, that's all you wanted? Well, it's my life. That doesn't mean that's all I got, but that's what I did. So let's get it started here. So as a child, as a youngster, what was my life expectation? And I'm going to tell you, y'all going to think this is so crazy. I think I've told y'all before. The only thing I cared about when I was younger was getting married. Look, see? See how you did that?
Yeah.
Ain't no judgment over here.
Why did
Ain't no judgment
it's
over
not
here.
even judgment though. I don't even think it's judgment.
Yeah,
I
no.
think sometimes people hear that and be like, that's it. Because people want you to, because I think people want life expectations to be things.
I think people want them to be grand.
They want them to be grand, but they want them to be things.
Yeah.
Like here I am. All I cared about is I wanted a man to love me for me.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I cared about. I didn't just want any husband.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted a good husband that loved me and wanted to take care of me. And so to some people, they'd be like, what? That's stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Because guess what? If you've never had it, you don't know how valuable that is.
Mm-hmm.
That's very valuable to have somebody that looks into your face and says, I am going to walk out the rest of my life, hell or high water, with you. And no matter if you get a back surgery and I got to change your bandages 3 times, I'm about to do it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think people underestimate how valuable that is. And so a lot of people, when you ask them this question, they want, is it tangible? Is tangible like things, houses and cars and things like that? Those are tangible things.
Yes.
So a lot of people's life expectations are tangible. And the thing about those things is they can very easily go away.
Yeah, they're very fleeting.
And they're very fleeting and they're not necessarily controlled by you. Because you could have the expectation of wanting a big grand house.
Oh, look at that housing market right now.
Well, not even that. What if you lose your job?
Mm-hmm.
Those are things that are not within your control.
Mm-hmm.
But having a good husband and weathering the storm, that can last till death do you part.
Literally.
Yeah. A house may not last you till death do you part. So when you are listening to this episode and you hear me say that my life expectation was to have a husband,
I think the word we really want is goal.
I don't even know if it was goal. It was, I really had an expectation. I had in my brain an expectation and I focused on that. And so what I focused on, I got.
Okay.
So I'm cool to keep it as expectation because
I
a
see
goal can come and go.
I see that. That makes sense.
I had an expectation of myself
That was going to
find
happen. Okay.
the right husband.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So that's why, we're going to keep it that. So that was a thing. And so like sometimes I tell people that and they be like, what? That's all you wanted? But that's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
That is a big deal because I know people that cannot find a mate.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that's a boyfriend, girlfriend, I ain't even talking about a husband or a wife. I'm talking about just a person to be with. If those people hear me, they be like, yeah, I get that.
Yeah, because that's how I am right now. I get it. That used to be my goal.
Mm-hmm.
But, I think through the
Your
years,
expectation?
that used to be my expectation. But
You've changed your perspective.
I really have. And I was just telling someone the other day, I'm so content and fine with my solitude that I don't even know how that would work if someone came into my life, It would have to be the right person. It definitely couldn't be someone who is controlling
and clingy
and toxic and things like that. It definitely wouldn't be able to work because I'm so like, I can do this with or without you,
Yeah.
that like, I don't need you adding more stress to my life talking about someone.
You want somebody laid back like daddy.
Yes.
Because daddy doesn't tell me nothing.
Yeah.
He just really doesn't. I do what I want to do, and he lets me.
Right.
But he trusts me because I'm not going to do nothing that's going to hurt this family.
Right.
Yeah, so he knows that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what you want.
Yeah.
So I don't think you've given up that life expectation.
Yeah. It's just
you
kinda
might have had you know what you might have had? You might have had an age on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And now you might have just pushed back the age.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because it's still a thing that I think you are working towards, but it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, these guys out here.
This dating market right now is just not it.
And I don't like male bashing because we love men in this on this podcast, but some of y'all need to get it together.
Yes. A lot of
If yo, and I'm not trying to single nobody out because I know that this is a thing. This is a recreation of choice. But if your weed smoking come before you taking care of your business, you got an issue.
That's an actual addiction, but
I know, but I'm saying that I think that, but Chelsi probably runs into that a little bit where
I don't mind if that's what you want to do in your free time, but when I just feel like it consumes your life, that's just such a turn off for me.
Right. But it's weird because it's not something that you do either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, you've had your past with it.
Yeah.
But it's not something that you do right now.
Right.
So when I think of people and mates and trying to find a mate, you kind of want to find somebody, and they call it equally yoked. Mm-hmm. You want to find somebody that does the things that you do, especially the core stuff. Mm-hmm. If you don't do drugs, why do you want a drug addict? Mm-hmm. Like, I've always wondered how non-smokers deal with smokers. I mean, it happens every day, don't get me wrong. But I don't want my house smelling like smoke if I don't smoke.
Oh, I've been seeing a bunch of videos of people trying to clean houses where smokers lived.
Yeah, smoke is it's well, most smokers smoke outside, but I just, it's just not a thing. I don't want to kiss a cigarette. I don't want to kiss an ashtray. Yeah. Let me get off of that. But that was my life expectation. And so when I was younger, I don't even know what age, I'm going to say like 7 or 8, I remember thinking, I want to be married. And I didn't see marriage because, like I tell y'all all the time, there was no marriages in my family. Like, nobody's married in my family on my mom's side. Like, none of my I have one auntie that passed away. She never was married, ever. I mean, and that's okay. And then the marriages that I did see were just like, okay, that is the most dysfunctional relationship that I've ever seen in my life. So I knew I didn't want that. But it didn't deter me. I still wanted one. I just didn't want those. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so around 7 or 8, I was like, I'm going to get married when I was 18. I think I even used to tell my mother, and she's like, girl. I used to be, I'm going to get married when I'm 18. So that was my goal. That was my goal age. And I was with your dad at 18. So I could have got married. But when I think back, we were too young. We didn't have what we needed to have at that time to do it. So I'm glad we did press it on to, I got married when I was 23 and had my first baby when I was 24. So it was a little pushback, but it still happened. So right. So keep the faith, Chelsi. Mm-hmm. Just because you push it back don't mean it ain't going to happen.
Yeah, no.
I would like to point out that the part about having an age attached to it.
Yeah, that's where you get jacked up. Don't put an age to it.
Because I had expectations. Like, my expectations were a little bit different. Mm-hmm. I didn't necessarily have an age attached to it. Mm-hmm. And I had like the expectation of, I'm going to get married. I'm going to go to college. I'm going to do this, that, and the third. Mm-hmm. But my expectations were weirdly specific. Like, when I expected to get married, I expected to get married to the first person I dated.
Okay.
And that was mostly just because growing up with you guys and you guys being the only, like, really, for lack of a better phrasing, the only real, like, marriage that I actually was really exposed to that actually seemed successful. Mm-hmm. That's what I thought you did.
It didn't just seem, it was. Watch your words with me. My marriage don't just seem successful. It is.
The one that is successful. I'm talking about
people probably listen to me and be like, who is this girl?
Right. But anyways, that was the only marriage that I saw that was successful but in the context, past tense, I thought it was successful. So I always thought that people met people, they found one person, and whoever you decided was going to be your boyfriend or girlfriend, that was going to be the person that you married. Now, that was about my idea of it when I was about 14, because before that, I didn't really think about it that much. Mm-hmm. But now that I'm in my lovely, lovely age of 27, I don't think that anymore. Like, I look back at that and I'm kind of just like, I don't know what I was thinking.
It happens for some people. Some people are lucky enough to marry the first person they date. I wouldn't even encourage that, because Neil was not the first person I dated, and I was not the first person he dated.
See, when I was 14, I didn't know that. So that's the part that's also funny, is a lot of the expectations that we put on things, we don't really know the full context of.
This is true.
I feel like we see the outward part of it and we say to ourselves, I want that. and you don't know
exactly.
You don't know what that is.
Right.
And you don't know what went into that.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Like you do not have the context or the perspective or any of that. Because when I was 14, all I knew is they dated, they've been together since they were high school. Clearly, they've only dated each other their entire lives.
No, that was not older, it. And I would have never done that. I dated, but I didn't date many.
Yeah.
Because my dating age was supposed to start at 16, and then my mother, something happened and she released it at like 15 and a half.
Released it.
Because, she came to my room one day and she was like, I kind of don't remember the conversation at all because she kind of threw me off. And then she was like, you can start talking to boys on the phone. And I was like, really? And I had already been doing it anyway because I just been sneaking and I was lying and saying that I was on the phone. Like she'd be like, who you on the phone with? And I would be like, yeah, I'm on the phone. And I would say a girl's name and it would be a boy. Or we would hang up real quick when I heard her come in, whatever. But yeah, I dated other people. It wasn't nothing. Neil was the first serious. I'm sorry. That is a lie. I am lying. The guy I dated before Neil that Neil stole me away from. I thought was a serious relationship, and it was the most dysfunctional. If I could tell y'all the stories, you wouldn't believe it, because that boy dogged me to the ground, and I needed that because I needed somebody to dog me so that when I met Neil, I could understand. Oh, he's better. You know what I'm saying? Because I think if I would have just met Neil and he would have been Neil, I would have thought I wouldn't have appreciated it. You see, this other guy made me appreciate your dad because Neil was nothing like this guy. I'm telling you, it's so dysfunctional. And I thought we were going to get married because I wanted to get married. It wasn't because, and I didn't even love this guy. I just thought I'm dating him. First guy I'm really serious about. He's going into the service. We're going to get married. And he kept saying, I'm going to marry you. And I was like, yes, because that's what I want. I want to be married. I don't even care who it is. It could be probably a pole dressed like a man. I probably would marry. So he was so dysfunctional, and it was just nothing but God's grace that Neil came in that time when we were waiting. We were in that waiting because he went off to Germany. I don't know if I told this story before. He went off to Germany. I met Neil. We were just dating casually as friends because I had a boyfriend. He had a girlfriend. And then Neil posed it to me. I posted on the Love and Marriage series, this story. And Neil came to me and said, you got to choose. Basically, he told me I had to choose, and I chose. And it was so many pros for Neil and cons for the other guy that it was an easy choice. But I say that to say he was not the first guy that I dated. You need to date a couple of guys, I think, in my opinion, because as we discussed the last show, I give my unsolicited opinion. And if you don't like it, you might not be a good match for me. And that's okay. But you need to date a couple so it teaches you to appreciate when you get the good thing, if it's a bad thing. Sometimes you can meet the good guy the first time. And that's the one. And you live with that. You live there. But for me, and I just have one of those very special personalities. Not anybody can rock with me. Men tell me this all the time. Like, I've worked with men that say, wow, how does Neil do it? Because not every man could deal with me because I have a lot of mouth. I have a lot of opinion. I am in everything. I am very controlling. I have a very controlling, but it's not controlling in a bad way. It's not like I'm like, you better wear blue today. It's just, if you put me in charge of something, I have to see every little piece of it. Like, it's very ironed out. Y'all know I'm very regimented. Right. Yeah. Is that it? Is that the word?
Yes.
I'm rigorous and I'm very regimented because it has to go A, B, C, D, E, F, G. It's just like that. So anyway, I say all of that to say, yes, Neil was not the first person I dated. So yeah.
That was the expectation for me, is that you marry the first person that you're in like a serious relationship with. And to me, any relation in my brain, in my 14 little old brain, any relationship you were in was serious. And now at 27, I know that's not the case. And as if you want to go back a couple of episodes. There's a part of me that was not a couple, it was a lot of episodes where I was like, no relationship is serious. That's not what. That's not what I want.
Are you
right?
ready to date? Or,
right? Are you dateable or whatever?
Yeah. That one. Go back and listen to that so y'all can hear the hypocrisy that was Ariel.
Right. And to me, in my brain, no relationship for me is serious right now. That was in my brain. That wasn't the season of life that I was in. Mm-hmm. Another thing for me was I always thought automatically after you go to high school, after you're done with high school, you go to college and then you get a career and that is your life.
So that was one of your life expectations was college?
Yes. One of my life. I didn't know what I was going to study.
But who gave you that? Because I never gave it to you.
Right. Yeah. I genuinely do not know where it came from.
Because I'm anti-college. No, I'm not anti-college. I just don't. Listen, I want you to do what's best for you. So I never told my kids, you got to go to college. I was not that parent.
Yeah.
I knew Ariel was going to go because she used to talk about it. She used to talk about it more than me. Mm-hmm. I knew Chelsi. We had this conversation before. Mm-hmm. We knew Chelsi was in college. Yep. But she wanted to just be college.
I was just so hard-headed.
She wanted to be college.
I've never, you'd never think you'd hear someone say, my parents don't think I need to go to college, but I want to go to college so bad to prove them wrong.
Yeah.
And let me tell you.
Because that's the spiteful child that you were.
Yeah. Don't ever do that.
Yeah. It's a waste. I mean, I just saw it. I knew you weren't college. I knew it. And I knew Ariel was because she loved school. Ariel loved school. But anyway, go ahead.
But I never put an age to it, but I always thought to myself, these are the things that are going to happen in the future. I don't know when they were going to happen because when I was younger, I was weirdly unaware of age and I was weirdly unaware, I would say, of time. So now that I'm older, I'm kind of just like seeing these other people. I'm interacting with other people because when I was younger, I didn't interact with people that are like had the time plans. I interacted with people who kind of knew what they wanted to do, but they happened to never, or at least if they did think about time, they never said that it was time. And as I got older, I got more exposed to people who put time limits on things. And it's so strange to me because I know, and I always just kind of understood that those are just the things that happen. And that really came into effect for me when I was in college because I was...
Ariel, what college did you go to?
I went to UNR.
What is that?
University of Nevada, Reno.
Because I'm like, only people in Nevada know UNR.
Oh,
nobody. You act like it's Princeton or Harvard.
Right. An Ivy League. So
right.
Sorry.
It's University of Nevada, Reno.
Yeah.
Okay.
But when I went to college, they kind of put a really heavy emphasis on finishing in 4 years or sooner. And
that's a lot. That's a lot.
Here's my thing about it. When you have it on a piece of paper, when they give you in your counseling, in your counseling forms, they give you this piece of paper. And when I went to University of Nevada, Reno, I guess, since I have to say,
she was about to say you'd never leave Vegas. She was about to say UNLV, her rival.
I was gonna
you never leave Vegas.
That's what Ariel says UNLV stands for.
You never
she
leave
says
Las Vegas.
You never leave Vegas. And fun fact, she's dating a guy that went to You Never Leave Vegas. So fun fact.
Yeah, got a whole master's degree from there and everything, but I digress. So when you go into your counseling meetings, no matter what major it was, no matter what under college you went to, they would give you this piece of paper and it would give you your entire course projection for the next 4 years. And when you look at it on a piece of paper and you see all of the classes that you're supposed to be taking and that you have to take, it makes it seem manageable, which is, the intention. And they're supposed to say, here is your step-by-step guide of the classes that you need to take in order to get your degree. But the other part that they kind of don't put on the paper, but they tell you, and I almost feel like they pressure you about, is that you do it in 4 years.
Yeah. I can see that.
And
because that'll stress you. That'll give you a nervous breakdown because you'll be having such a heavy course load.
Right, and that's because on the piece of paper, everything seems easy because it's always one sheet of paper. It doesn't give you not super descriptive, but it says you're going to take English 101 or Business 102 or whatever the class may be, and it makes it seem so simple. But it's not. It's not until you actually get into the classes where you're like, oh my gosh, this is a lot.
Yeah, because the professor, baby, let me tell you something about them professors. They can make or break the freaking class because as we know, and I forgot to tell y'all, I reached out to my university. I'm about to go back to school. I'm missing it. So when we first started the podcast, I stopped going to school. I'm going to school for a bachelor's in psychology.
Oh, I won't be the only one with a bachelor's in the family. Love it.
Well, it's probably going to take me till I'm 80 to get it because I'm only going to do one class at a time. But I'm going back. Even if just nothing, you know what? I don't even really have to have the piece of paper. I just like taking the courses because I like learning. And I think psychology helps me so much with this podcast because what we're doing is psychology. We're talking about life on the mic. And so, so I reached out to my university last week. So I'm waiting to hear back from them to see what I need to do to get enrolled for the next semester. I probably won't start until fall.
That makes sense.
Because I wanted to, I don't want to cut up my summer, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But anyway.
But right. I say all of that to say I was in my freshman year, I was really focused on my classes. I was like, okay, I need to get all A's or as many A's and B's as possible. I can't let any of my grades slip. I can't do any of this. And I got to finish all of this in 4 years. I got to do it in 4 years. I got to do it in 4 years, 4 years, 4 years, 4 years. I ended up doing my degree in 5. And I distinctly remember when I was in college, I want to say I realized that I wasn't going to finish in 4 years around year 3. And the reason I knew it was year 3 that this happened was because when I was in my third year of college, or my second year of college, I had decided to do everything. I was on leadership council. I was trying to have a job. I was trying to have like a whole bunch of just extracurriculars on top of my classes. And my grades kind of slipped. And my grades slipped to a point where I was not necessarily on like actual academic probation, but I was on academic probation for leadership council. Like you had like a minimum like GPA that you had to bring up and you had to keep it there. And I was like just under the threshold. And I remember I was sitting in my counselor's office and he like laid the sheet in front of me and he's like, you're just under the threshold. He's like, you can still stay in leadership council, but he was like, you can kind of just watch it. And for me, all I heard was, you're failing. You're not going to do well. And I just internalized that. And I felt so down about myself. And I was like, well, what is this going to do?
Because you needed to change your perspective.
Right.
Why did you say that so aggressively? Just so aggressive.
Because I wanted to point out to Ariel that she needed to change her perspective. Because Ariel is a big person that does stuff that a lot of times she needs to change her perspective. So I was giving her a friendly, aggressive reminder.
Friendly, aggressive reminder. But yeah, at the end of year 2, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to turn this around. Otherwise I won't be able to get this done in 4 years. So then my third year of college was when...
You're about to go through all your years?
No, I'm not. I'm not.
I'm just kidding.
But my third year of college was when I kind of really sat down and was like, all right, so since second year didn't go that great, I got to redo some classes. I got to redo some things. I got to reevaluate my life because I like kind of changed my major a little bit. I went through like a weird, to me, transition sort of period. And I say all of that to say I finished in the 5 years, but I did the thing that I expected to do.
What was that?
Get the degree.
Yeah, all of that just to say you got the degree. My God. And that was your life expectation, right?
Yeah, that was the expectation. The expectation was that I was going to get the degree. But when you I say all of that to say, to surmise, is that getting to the expectation is going to take the time that it takes. Yeah. And you shouldn't put the expectation of, I need to have it by this certain time and make that in your entire personality.
Well, I think it's interesting that you first started off the story by saying you had no time expectation.
Yeah, but I didn't.
But you let somebody change your perspective by
she didn't have an age.
Yeah, right.
But, yeah.
Well, which was time, because she said she had no perception of time.
Yeah, I had no perception of time.
But then when they gave her that paper,
that's when I got the perception of time.
She let somebody else set her timeline. So that's what I'm saying is it's good to point out that don't let somebody change your timeline. Like you thinking you not gonna have a baby till you 31, and then your friend get pregnant at 25, and you be like, I need to get pregnant.
Right. Don't let other people don't even let them give you a timeline in the first place. Like,
they can give it to you, but just stick to stick to your original. You would have been perfectly fine if you would have got that paper and been like, oh well,
it takes what it takes.
It takes what it takes, which would be a change of perspective. So, but at least you learned that now. So yeah. So Chelsi, what was your life expectation? Was the man? Was that it?
The man. Yeah, that's.
You had no career expectations back then.
I didn't know what I wanted to do.
No career expectations.
I changed what I wanted to do about 10,000 times when I was a kid.
Right.
Remember, I
wanted
wanted to be
the PA.
I wanted to be an ultrasound tech.
Well, I gave that one to you.
Yes.
Okay. I didn't think that one was
fashion design.
I wanted to be a fashion designer. Realized I couldn't draw. Felt like that was a big
and you
part
can't
of it.
sew.
That you can learn how to do, but the biggest thing is I just don't feel like I'm a very creative person.
Yeah,
so,
you're not artsy fartsy.
Yeah, so to do something that's artsy fartsy like that wasn't gonna work. Yeah. Then I was like, well, let me be an ultrasound tech, and then I was like, you know what?
But you don't like all the schooling.
Yeah,
but you probably could have did it when you think about what you went through to be an esthetician.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get it.
You wanted to do communications?
Yeah, I wanted to be a publicist, social media manager. It was too much journalism. I don't like.
And
journalism.
are you the what is that? What did you say?
Social media manager?
No. What was the whole thing?
Communications, publicist.
No, publicist.
Publicist.
Social media manager.
A lot of journalism.
But are you the publicist, social media manager for
No, because I don't have the time to do it. I don't have the time. I don't have the time.
How she lies. She just doesn't want to do it.
I don't have the time. I do not have the time.
Chelsi, the reason I'm badgering her about this is because when we first started this podcast, Chelsi was supposed to be our social media manager. And as many of you guys probably know, I am it. I do a lot. And it probably was rightfully so because I'm such a control freak.
Exactly.
I wouldn't, she wasn't posting when I wanted her to post, how I wanted her to post. Exactly. So I took it. I fired her. I said, you're just going to be host and I'll do the rest. But but it's a lot for me though.
Yeah.
I wish you would help out sometimes.
Can't do it.
But I bet you when we blow up. This is what I tell Chelsi all the time. I just told her this before we started this episode. I said, if you don't get, what was we just talking about?
It's because my ADHD was
you didn't want to record yet. And I was like, in a minute, you're going to get kicked off the show. And you're not going to be able to come back. Don't be trying to come back when we blow up. And then you'll be like, yeah, I want to be, no. Because once I fire you, you're fired. So, anybody who's fired from me.
You ain't firing me.
Right. We'll close the door in the studio.
We were just talking about how Chelsi's the only one who agrees with you, is down, and you're gonna fire the one person that's you know what I mean?
That's in life though. She agrees with me in life. I don't know that she always agrees with me in the podcast.
No.
Yeah. But in life, if I take her a life situation, she will agree and be like, yeah, I totally agree with you. And I think she'd be genuine. I don't think she just does it just to say it either. I think she'd be down with it. I get it. And you be neutral. And I get it because that's your personality. I can see you like to keep the peace. I'm not a peacekeeper. Me and Chelsi not peacekeeper. No. Your daddy is a peacekeeper. So it's in this house, it's 4 of us. And it's usually 2 against 2.
Yeah.
You know what? You're right. It is
Ariel is more like daddy and Chelsi is more like me. So it's usually, if I want to be agreed with, I just will go to Chelsi first.
Yeah.
If I want to get neutral Nancy and neutral Ned, I'll go to Ariel and Neil.
And sometimes it does flip. Sometimes I'm on mom's side and not dad's, and sometimes Chelsi's on dad's side. So it's always a split no matter what. Or
we don't need y'all in our stuff though. We don't come. I very rarely come to y'all and be like, "Daddy said this and want y'all to be on my side."
No, you don't come to her. You be coming to me.
And I want you to be on my side.
But I'm always on your side. That's why you just tell me.
You never on daddy's side?
Very rarely.
Sometimes it'd be me and Chelsi versus y'all though. Every once in a while.
Let's tell the public, because Daddy be having people fooled.
He really do. He really do.
You-
Like what he do. Like what he did the other day.
What did he do?
He's
Rat him out.
He's
Rat him
so
out.
rude. Like, let me tell y'all. Y'all really think he is just
Everybody
this quiet
thinks that
man.
Neil is a halo, an angel
And
with a
he's
halo.
really not. He's really not.
So got y'all
So
fooled.
Rude sometimes.
The other day, I was getting ready to go to work, and I was just making conversation. I was like, what you do yesterday? Blah 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 blah. And then he was like, what are you doing tonight? And I was like, oh, well, it's my friend's birthday, so we're going out to the club tonight, you know. And I was fine to just keep it at that. I was fine to not go into details. But then he gonna ask the extra details. So I started telling him, I was like, we're going to XS. I was like, we're doing wigs. We all got colored. Like, I start going into detail. And I get about 2 seconds into my extra details. He goes, okay, all right, have fun.
And walked away.
Walked upstairs and just...
And was so proud of
and
himself,
just cut
too.
the conversation.
And I went off on him. I said, Neil, that is rude. I said, why would you do that? You asked her to expand on it.
And then you just gonna cut me off like that.
And you know what he said? When I said that, he said, I had got all I needed to hear. And this is the thing, because people think, oh, Neil is so quiet. Neil never says anything. He always, he's just there for you. No. Neil is the rudest person on earth.
So rude. I was like, what?
He can be.
He can be.
I just was telling one of his friends, one of his best friends was in town recently, and I was telling his friend, I said, one thing about Neil, if you say something that he ain't, like, when the conversation started getting to a place where he is not engaged anymore, he will check out. Mm-hmm. And I can see it because I know him. I can see it. Not everybody knows it. Not everybody sees it. But Neil will just, if you start getting too long, he will just walk away from you.
See, what's funny that you say that is I don't be caring. So when Dad...
You don't be caring?
I did that on purpose.
Oh, okay.
I do not care. I will be telling him something and I will actually follow him because he don't have to listen. I just want to talk just to talk. If you're not listening, that's fine.
Right.
But
I'm just saying, you know how sometimes people will argue back and forth?
Right, yeah.
Now, with me, he'll stay because he knows happy life, happy wife, happy life. Mm-hmm. But like if it's a friend and you talking crazy, he will all of a sudden need to get up and get some water, or all of a sudden he gonna have to get up and get something. He's going to walk away from you, and it's not just gonna be a bold just walk across the room. It's gonna be I just went to go get something to drink, but it's not gonna be just. He ain't just gonna sit there and eyes glaze over.
The funny part to me is when he'll do that. If you're standing in the kitchen, he'll go out to the garage.
That's his favorite thing. The garage is his favorite escape.
Yeah, he'll go out to the garage, and
You'll be having a conversation with him, and then all of a sudden he just feels the need to go out to the garage while you having a mid conversation.
I'll be waiting until he come back, and then I pick up where I left.
But for me, that has almost gotten him KILT, killed, a couple of times. Because it's been times where I've been talking about serious life business, and he don't want to talk about it. So he'll do that, I'm about to go to the garage thing. And the thing about the garage door is auto, it closes by itself. So it's like, it kind of, it is jarring because you're talking and then you'll hear the door close.
Right, you hear it slam a little bit.
Yeah, and you be like, for real? That's what we doing? So, yeah, but I expressed to him that is not a thing that I like. So he's been trying to put a lid on that because I do try to change him sometimes. Even though I don't like for people to try to change me, I will try to change you. I am not fair. I just noticed that. I'm not fair.
Like in this moment? In this instant?
I think I've known it for a while that I'm not fair. Yeah. I'm not fair.
Okay.
So if you're friends with me and expect me to be fair, I wish you well.
Got it. Noted.
We're probably not going to stay friends for long.
But yeah, back to expectations before we close it out.
It. That's it. We gave our expectations. Chelsi gave hers.
Yeah.
We good.
We talked about our expectations. I think that's about all that we have.
Okay. So.
Okay, because I tried to do the closing.
Right,
and I can't
Ariel
do it.
he was going on about nothing. cut
Okay.
it.
So this is how you close out the show, Ariel. So
got it. I'll
that's
take
our
notes.
show for today. We thank you for listening. We appreciate your listenership. Remember to follow us on our social medias. Remember Instagram. I'm Instagram heavy. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, do it. Do it. Anyway, we thank you for listening today, and we will see you on the next episode.
Adios.
Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to follow us on all social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. We look forward to you joining us on the next episode. Until then, be inspired and enlightened.